Hello and welcome to this in-depth video on the criticisms of evolutionary psychology. Evolutionary psychology is a field of study that seeks to understand human behavior and mental processes through the lens of evolution. It suggests that certain behaviors and psychological traits have evolved over time due to their adaptive benefits. While this approach has gained popularity in recent years, it has also faced criticism from some scholars. One major criticism of evolutionary psychology is that it relies heavily on speculation and conjecture. Since it is difficult to study the evolution of behavior and mental processes directly, researchers often use indirect evidence and make assumptions about the adaptive value of certain traits. This can lead to unfounded claims and overgeneralizations about human behavior. For example, evolutionary psychologists often suggest that certain behaviors, such as aggression or mate selection, have evolved because they were adaptive in our ancestral environments. However, these claims are often difficult to test empirically and rely on assumptions about the past that may not be accurate. Another criticism is that evolutionary psychology tends to focus on the ways in which humans are similar to other animals, rather than on the unique aspects of human behavior. Critics argue that this approach overlooks the complexity and diversity of human behavior and may lead to oversimplified explanations that ignore cultural and social influences. Evolutionary psychology often draws on comparative studies of animal behavior to make claims about human behavior. However, critics argue that humans are unique in their capacity for culture, language, and self-awareness, and that these factors play a crucial role in shaping human behavior. Critics have also raised concerns about the ethical implications of evolutionary psychology. Some argue that the field's emphasis on natural selection and adaptation can be used to justify harmful social policies and reinforce stereotypes. For example, the idea that men are naturally more aggressive than women has been used to justify male dominance in society. Similarly, evolutionary psychology has been criticized for its tendency to reinforce traditional gender roles and justify the status quo. Some evolutionary psychologists have suggested that differences in gender roles and behavior are due to differences in evolutionary pressures on men and women. However, critics argue that gender roles are socially constructed and can change over time, and that ignoring cultural and social factors can lead to oversimplified and inaccurate explanations. Another criticism is that evolutionary psychology often relies on a narrow set of research methods, such as laboratory experiments and surveys. This approach may overlook important contextual factors and fail to capture the complexity of human behavior in real-world settings. For example, evolutionary psychology often uses laboratory experiments to test hypotheses about human behavior. However, critics argue that these experiments may not accurately reflect real-world behavior and that contextual factors such as culture and social norms are important in shaping human behavior. Finally, some critics argue that evolutionary psychology overlooks the role of culture in shaping human behavior. They suggest that culture is an important factor in shaping our psychological processes and that ignoring it can lead to oversimplified and inaccurate explanations. For example, evolutionary psychology often assumes that certain behaviors, such as altruism or cooperation, are universal across cultures. However, research has shown that these behaviors can vary significantly depending on cultural context. In conclusion, while evolutionary psychology has made significant contributions to our understanding of human behavior, it is not without its criticisms. Critics have raised concerns about its speculative nature, its focus on animal behavior, its ethical implications, its support for traditional gender roles, its narrow research methods, and its neglect of cultural factors. As with any scientific field, it is important to approach evolutionary psychology with a critical eye and consider multiple perspectives. Thank you for watching.